Hello guys, welcome back to El.Ynvstigator, and this time we will be looking into a couple of unsolved cases based in the US that have been catching my attention lately. So I hope everyone has been enjoying their week. It's the weekend for me, so I hope you guys are getting plenty of rest and enjoying time with the people that you love and care for. So um, as I said, this is a video covering a couple of cases in the true crime section of my channel. So just as a discretion warning, this will get into the fine details of some crimes and the violence behind that. So if you're not prepared for unsettling pieces of information like that, this may not be the video for you. I would recommend hanging around for next week or 2 weeks from now for a different video about a lighter topic that would be more able to help you learn and gain new insights about what I care about and what I want to promote to people on the internet. So with that, let's prepare our minds to delve into some really high detailed cases that have a lot of time in the stream just being contemplated by police, by investigators, by people like me who want to research these cases and find ways to promote the information accurately to help see if there's any opportunity for new light to be shed on these situations. To start us off, I will talk about a case within the state of Louisiana, and this will be sort of my introduction hook into the case. So, swamps, in my perspective, they're not a really pleasant place to be in. They're super humid, and I think there's one thing I don't like. It's mosquitoes and bugs and really annoying pests. So swamps are just like the heaven, the breeding ground for all of those pests. I really do enjoy forest and the city park where I live, and the occasional camping trip to parts of the south here in the US, but I don't think I would ever have a reason to go to a swamp just to check it out and see what it's like in person. So my question to you is, would you ever consider going to one? So yeah, that's a little way to ease into the case, which will take place in 2005 in a city of Louisiana called Jefferson Davis Parish. This is a area of Louisiana that is located next to Lafayette. I can display a map here to give you all better navigation and orient yourself to where we are currently in this case. Sorry, technology is hard. Okay, so you can see here in the center of this kind of red dash region is a sub town called Jennings, and that's where the case predominantly will be featured in. And you can see Lafayette on the right side as the other major landmark city for Louisiana. And the population for Jennings in 2005 was about 10,500, so it's a sizable city, not too rural, still connected to other parts of the Louisianan society. So this is where much of the economy is agriculturally driven. wherever there's fertile land for crops and such, that's where they will have those companies and farms. Besides all the city parts and farmland, there's these swamps that I mentioned earlier, and these areas would just kind of make up the ecological landscape for Jefferson Davis Parish. Um, in terms of the socio-cultural vibe to uh, this area, we could say that within 2005, this is a relatively calm community. With just like being a small scale city, people were a little familiar with each other, even close knit in some instances. But that would kind of be turned on its head once basically a bunch of women from Jefferson Davis Parish started to disappear mysteriously, and this, of course, sparked a lot of dread and concern over what was happening to these women and why were they suddenly um, turning up absent in the lives of their families and loved ones and friends. So, in May 20th of 2005, there was a really grim discovery in one of those close by swamps. Um, a woman's body was found in the water of a canal by a unsuspecting fisherman. The state of that woman's body was extremely decomposed. It was so bad that the medical examiner couldn't really accurately determine what caused her death. And so the authorities were able to identify her, um, who the body is. So I'll pull up the images of that. It's 8 women who have gone missing over a span of a few years since 2005. The first of these would be Loretta Lewis, and she was at the time a 28-year-old resident of the area. Her life was characterized by lots of drug abuse with cocaine. That was a common drug trade within Jefferson Davis Parish, and she was also involved with the sex worker industry, so that, of course, leads to unpleasant situations you don't want to be in, and so without a clear cause of death and other evidence that could reveal what happened to Miss Lewis, it was pretty tough to investigators to exactly trace what was happening around this area. Later in June of the same year, another body turned up in the bayou of Jennings, and this time it would be Ernestine Patterson's body floating in the water. She, at the time, was found in I would say, less deteriorated condition. She was. It was clear that upon inspection of her body that she had a really deep cut across her throat that basically gave clues to the police investigation that this wasn't any type of self-contained incident of a person doing self-harm and things of that nature. It was actually when they began to suspect that this was the result of a homicide and a killer who was responsible for these 2 victims that are just being disposed of in the swamps, so sadly. Patterson She was known by many people around Jennings, and she was last seen alive with in connection to two men. And so the police attempted to question and investigate these two suspects closely, but sadly, there wasn't much evidence to show that they were at guilt for Patterson's death, and so they were dropped from being persons of interest and primary suspects for the string of murders so far. The third victim, as we see pictured, would be Kristen Lopez. She was discovered on March 18th, 2007, and she was 21 years old at the time of her passing. Like Loretta and Ernestine, she did work as a prostitute, and she encountered a lot of the same challenges as the other ladies with being involved with drug trafficking and other crime activity in that area. But Miss Lopez's body was very damaged and unidentifiable to see what exactly caused her to die. So this was, by this point, having those really badly decomposed bodies being left in the swamp water was becoming the modus operandi of this killer at large. He, I guess, through looking at the current victims' profiles and their backgrounds, it was clear that this killer was targeting vulnerable, struggling women who were involved with the shady side of Jennings and Jefferson Davis Parish as a whole. And hence the name Jennings, Jefferson Davis 8. 5 more victims that police and Louisianans know of to this point would be discovered. These include Whitney DuBois, Laconia Brown, or Muggy was her nickname, Crystal Zeno. The youngest of the victims was Brittany Gary. She was only 17 years old when she tragically lost her life. And then lastly, Nicole Guillory, a 26-year-old who was all of these additional victims were discovered in a similar state across the many swamps in Jefferson Davis. It's important to also note that the majority of these women and females were informants for police about the local crime happening around them. And because of that, that began to make the community question the validity of the police department, and that the police may not be acting in proper conduct, that there may be some type of insider violation of the police trying to cover up information that could lead to bad discoveries. And so the way that this was handled, really sparked bad sentiments from people following the case and the law enforcement with the sheriff and officers and things like that. There was also really hard ways to get any conclusive evidence to who was linked to the 8 women and who might have had a reason to target them and harm them like that. So um, with not any consistent witness testimonies and any evidence to analyze at the crime scenes of the places where the bodies were found, it culminated in a very difficult case where things were just not getting solved and no leads or new suspects were being efficiently pursued. And this persisted for many years past the early 2000s into still being unsolved to this day. And so, because of that, with the large media coverage not only existing in Louisiana but across the entire country, a journalist by the name of Ethan Brown, he wrote a book about this case called Murder in the Bayou. And within that book, I haven't read it myself. It's saying that these murders were part of a conspiracy of a potential cover up for like police corruption and drug trades happening under the radar, and these unfortunate 8 women were key pieces that of information that would have been able to dismantle that operation. And so another point that Brown makes in his book is that there may not be a lone agent to the murders, that it may have been a group of individuals tied to the either the sex worker industry or the drug trafficking that was dominant throughout this time. So for over 2 decades since the start of this case with finding Loretta Lewis's body, it's really sad to see how these people haven't received any justice for their untimely end, and people such as Du Bois had 2 young children back in 2005, and so those children are now without a mother, and they of course it's going to be a very similar case for the other 7 women. And so if you or someone that you know of has any tips or valuable information that can bring the Jefferson Davis 8 to find more answers, the sheriff's office in the local precinct of Jefferson Davis Parish would be available through their phone and website to be able to find justice for all of these victims. All right, so with that, we'll now start talking about the second case that I've been investigating about. So this will then uh, become an introduction about a different case here. So what would you think if you noticed your neighbors frequently creating loud arguments from um, your neighborhood? These type of arguments would just be so dang loud that you can hear them from any part of your house next door. And so, what are some of the responses that you could do? Most people would say that they would intervene, saying that this is a disturbance for the neighborhood. Other people may just mind their own business and choose not to engage. If it was me, I would try to have like a polite talk with them and try to offer ways to de-escalate the tension, and ask if everything's okay. Is there anything we can do to support y'all or find a resolution? So bring that up because realistically, from the countless places I lived and moved to, it's really hard to understand what's happening behind the scenes, and it can be really scary sometimes to even process uh, what people are truly going through uh, beyond what they say or do um, directly. And that segues us into introducing the area. And this will be, as you see in the map, a map of Phoenix within an area known as Scottsdale. And we'll travel back to the year 2001. And so within this suburb community, things were quite typical and just your run of the mill residential neighborhood until one uh, eventful day where one of the houses in Scottsdale, uh, suburbia, erupted with a large explosion. And this explosion was at a family residence of a young family uh, at the time. So on April 18th, the home of a family unit with the last name Fisher had a really gigantic fire attempting to destroy the home. And the initial strike of the explosion was so loud that neighbors claimed that they felt the vibrations and the shake of the impact, shaking the walls and disrupting the ambience of the neighborhood area. So the Scottsdale Fire Department was pretty responsible and had a good turnaround time to arrive to the Fisher's home and to begin extinguishing the fire as best they could, and to prevent the deaths of the family inside. So firefighters were doing their standard procedure, trying to control the fire and extinguish that from spreading into any unwanted places. And once they were successful in subduing the blaze, they were attempting to look for any sign of the family, because on the outside, like on the street of the house, there wasn't any indication that the family had fled from the home to escape the danger of not only the flames but also the smoke accumulating in the house that could have suffocated them. So once they did their walk around the house to look for um, any family members who may need assistance and rescue, they were met with a really awful scene. So, laying on the ground of the Fisher's home, there was Mary Fisher. Mary is the mother and wife of the family. She was discovered deceased alongside her two children, her daughter Brittany, who was 12 years old, and her son Bobby Jr., 10 years old, inside the house. For the father, his name was Robert Fisher, and he wasn't discovered upon inspecting the entire property. So, most, if you didn't know, in most fires, most not in 90% of fire-related deaths is attributed to smoke inhalation. The rooms fill up rapidly with so much smoke that it just suffocates you quickly instead of the direct heat and fire harming you like that. So the firefighters were trying to assess what exactly led to them, those three Fisher's family members, to get deceased. And, if finding their bodies like that wasn't grim enough, they found a much worse discovery for Mary Fisher when they were inspecting her condition. They located a large gunshot wound to the back of her head, and so that doesn't typically happen for in a case of a house fire. So that immediately drew concern. And then for Brittany and Bobby Jr., it was evident that on their faces there was a huge sharp cut across their heads, and that long cut would have led to severe hemorrhaging and loss of survival. So these obvious indicators of homicide just made things look extremely bad for the missing puzzle piece, which was Robert. Um, since he was clearly gone from the scene of the house, um, the firefighters and law enforcement did some poking around the charred remains of the Fisher's home, and they were attempting to understand what began the fire in the first place. So um, when they looked into the kitchen, they found that a gas line was deliberately sabotaged and cut open to leak natural gas into the home. And then right next to that exposed gas line, there was a candle, a flame that, of course, leads to the ignition of all of that built up gas. So another piece of foul play, that this was a arson incident, that where the perpetrator, who is most likely Robert, was trying to dispose of the bodies of Mary and her two kids through incinerating them in a large fire. So um, when police placed their focus into finding and locating what happened to Robert, they had done a bit of digging into what he was up to in the past days before the house fire broke out. So a little bit about Robert and his background. He was born in the year 1961, and growing up throughout his time, he had to deal with divorced parents, which really paid a toll on his mental health um, as a teenager. And then once he became an adult, he moved from Brooklyn, New York, over to California. He had a period of time where he tried to enlist into the U.S. Navy. He also, once the Navy didn't work out, he went into becoming a firefighter himself, right? Or ironic that his very house is burned down, but he had proper professional training as a firefighter. So um, beyond his background, he could be really described as a not very gentle person. He is quite the easy to set off type of person with the really short temper. It would spread, anger and shouting at his wife and his children, and to people that knew him. He was very strict, very close closed-minded, not easy to approach, if that makes sense. So, that's not looking too good for his personality. And um, as the police were looking at any red flags that could have traced Robert to the house fire, they saw that the day previous to his house getting burned down, that he went to a local ATM, and there was a CCTV camera there that captured him um, withdrawing $280 at that machine. So I don't think that's a crazy amount of money to withdraw if you're trying to commit um, multiple murders and a case of arson. But that's what I view it as. But besides the money withdrawal, the neighbors reported hearing a really loud disturbance of a heated argument between the the couple with Mary and Robert. And Mary, a bit about her history with the family with Robert is that she was very uncomfortable and verbally abused by Robert. She told her family multiple times that she wanted to file for a divorce and things with Robert, and so that could have been a attributing reason to why Robert felt a need or had the consideration uh, to attack his family like that, allegedly. And so Mary, she drove a vehicle that was a Toyota 4Runner, and after she lost her life, Robert. It's alleged that Robert used her 4Runner to leave Scottsdale and flee from the authorities. So the 4Runner was gone for a while until it turned up at a national forest park way over in another city in Arizona called Payson, Arizona, which is not in this map, obviously. But let me bring up a photo of Robert for reference. Intermission, technological difficulties. And this photo will also show what the Fisher family looked like in the early 2000s. Okay, so like this image, we have Mary and her two beautiful kids, and then the alleged attacker of the family who is on the run. And just looking through what happened with the 4Runner and his escape plan, supposedly. The FBI was hot on its trail, and so was the Arizona police departments for each city, and U.S. Marshals, since the vehicle was at a national park. They began a manhunt in order to locate where Robert had gone to. And so by 2002, he was added to the 10 most wanted fugitives list decided by the FBI. And so per his description on the top 10 most wanted. He is currently being charged for 3 counts of first degree murder and 1 count of arson. So, why did he choose to go to a national park? You're probably wondering why that place of any place. Turns out that Robert is quite a outdoorsman. He is um, a camping person who enjoys using the land and being resourceful with nature. So there's one working theory by investigators, FBI, um, community people who knew of the Fishers that he is using that skill set, for lack of a better term, to evade capture and authorities. The other opposite theory or alternate idea is that he's using that as a red herring, and he's assuming a new identity with like altered appearances to his look, in a whether that's still in the West Coast or still in the U.S. We're not clear on what that could look like. So, unfortunately, to this day, there hasn't been any new development in the manhunt for Robert Fisher. Um, there's no evidence besides those red flags that he is truly shut in case guilty of murdering his wife and 2 children. And it's unknown if, given his age, he would be about 64 in today's present day. So, um, you know, things are still possible. He may be living, he may be dead. But from 2021, the FBI decided to remove his name from the most wanted fugitive list. And basically beyond that, that's all of the information pertaining to the case for Fisher and the tragic fire and the homicide of these 3 innocent people. So if you have any substantial information that can lead to the discovery of Robert, or any case that can show who knew more things about the Fisher family, please use the resource of the Scottsdale Police Department with their case department to look into how you can properly provide that information. And with that, we can hopefully find a conclusion and bring closure for the family members of Mary, and for this long-standing mystery spanning over 25 years. And it's pretty sad. I feel really upset with how they were suffering through an uncomfortable household with Robert's personality and his reported alleged mistreatment of people around him. So just be conscious of your neighbors, and try to be a source of encouragement and being able to help provide solutions for people who are going through similar stories where they are battling a home domestic violence case. And so with that, we have one more last case to hear about. So this will take us to Washington State. And Let me prepare the material for that. All right, so Washington State. Even before I begin discussing the case officially, can you just imagine how difficult life would be if the cell phones and all these smart devices like your computer and iPad tablets and such didn't exist anymore? The world would just be so limited in its reach and communication. Um, I'm a Gen Z guy, so I got my first phone in uh, 2009, and that was a BlackBerry. It's like it's not a flip phone, but it would like slide. The screen would slide at an offset to reveal the keys, and the keys were just a number pad, 0 through 9, with a pound and star. And yet, in order to type letters, you had to click multiple times on a number to get the letter you needed. So if I wanted to type C, I had to do 1 1 1. But yeah, um, with that early phone I had as a kid, my parents were assured that they could always contact me if I was at school or hanging out with friends, that they could reach me to know where I was and know that I wasn't doing anything bad or getting myself in danger like that. So through that analogy, we'll have that um, you know story in mind. This last case is going to take us to Washington State in the year 1992. This is a map of Tacoma. Tacoma is south of Seattle, a large metropolitan area in the Pacific Northwest. Um, and the Tacoma County region, whatever you call it, is a smaller area known as Puyallup, Puyallup, Washington. And so during this time in the 90s, there was a teenage girl who was named Misty, uh, and her last name was Copsey. And she was residing in Puyallup with her single mother, Diana, and they were in the same household, just those two together. And Misty was a 14-year-old athlete in school. She was a very social butterfly. She got along well with her peers and family and people that she interacted with. And so within that year, um, Tacoma was organizing a large fair for the area. Um, this fair, of course, if you've ever been to one, it's just a special event for rides and foods and activities to do with your friends and to enjoy spending time with the community. Being a very social and outgoing person, Misty was very keen on checking it out herself during that time. Um, Misty went up to Diana on that day at home on in September of that time of year, and she asked her mom, "Hey, could I go to this fair um, to spend time with my friend, Misty's friend? Her name is Trina." And Diana said, unfortunately, Diana couldn't take her daughter in the car to drop her off at the fairground. Um, Diana was a nighttime worker with the shifts, so this was the decision that Diana presented to Misty. She would just need to either A, take advantage of the bus transit system that's really well connecting the Tacoma, Seattle area, or B, ask Trina, her friend, to give a ride to get to the fair. And so, this was the two options that were approved by Diana. But on Misty's part, she, is an irresponsible teenager, like we all are. And so she didn't make it in time to catch the bus to the fair area. So she ultimately rode with Trina to get to there successfully. Um, but there was going to be a caveat with that ride arrangement. So Trina, even though she was willing to take Misty to the fair, she could not guarantee that she would also follow through with taking Misty back to her home, just due to I guess like a different plan Trina had after the fair was over. So Diana was aware of this. So Diana told Misty to either take one of the later buses of that night to reach home, or to search and ask around other friends for a lift home. So with that consideration, without Trina available to get home, the first choice of a friend to give a ride was a guy named Ruben. He's an 18-year-old that was in the friend group of Misty. And Misty's mom did not really like this Ruben guy. He's 18 years old, so he's definitely significantly older than Misty, and he even expressed a romantic interest in Misty, which is really terrible because he's an adult, she's a minor. And another strange thing about Ruben was that he had some sort of like medical impairment where, I guess mentally he would experience these frequent blackouts that just completely debilitated him from time to time. And so it was kind of, based off the research, I couldn't see why he was doing that or why he had that condition. I'm not sure that's attributed to anything in the medical field. So if you would know more about blackouts, like as a regular in, instance people encounter, please shed some light on that in the comments. But just because of the red flags of Ruben, he was not ideal to take Misty home. So the next day after the fair wrapped up, the first day, it was the morning, and Diana discovered that Misty did not get home after she was off work and arrived home from the night shift. So this isn't something new to Mrs. Copsey. Being a rebellious teenager, there was one previous time where Misty failed to get back home at an expected time, and that generated lots of worry. And like I was implying at the beginning of this case, that we have now in in the 2020s, we have all of these ways to stay connected with our smartphones and smart devices. But in the 90s, the best that they could offer was this electronic pager device, which is not as advanced as what we have nowadays. So, they had landline phones and phone booths throughout the time. So, I'm not a 90s kid, but that was your other source or method to reach people remotely. So Diana kept asking around what happened to Misty, and when I brought up the first time that Misty turned up missing, Diana did proceed with a missing persons report for that first time, and once Misty made her way back home, it was tossed out. So with the second time, with the fair event related to her missing state on September 14th that year, Diana once again did another missing person report to the Puyallup PD, but the authorities handling that report informed Diana that they couldn't really do much. Basically, there was a procedure for the police department to classify all suspected missing persons as runaways voluntarily, that of their own accord just up and left home with no rhyme or reason. So this this would extend to a 30-day period where they just needed to treat the case of Misty as she's a willing uh, runaway that just left home. And so, to say the least, Diana was extremely displeased by the police officers refusing to handle the case the way she wanted to, and not giving much thought or support to properly locate where Misty had last been seen and where she may have ended up at, and whether she was safe or not. Um, so the last visual confirmation of Misty was at the fair itself that evening. Um, she was hanging out with the friend that she rode with to the fair, Trina, and she also had spent some time with Ruben, the red flag friend that Diana didn't like to see Misty being around. So for the next 2 years, from 1992 to 1994, the case kept getting a lot of hurdles and obstacles to get through. Um, there was a lot of criticism from the way that the police had their mindset about Misty's disappearance and their reluctance to pursue any active investigation. There's a community criticism of people who were completely sympathetic to Diana's, you know, uh, sense of worry and anxiety for losing her daughter um, through like not being sure where she's at, and other community criticism where it got really negative to a point where Diana was suspected of staging her daughter's disappearance. That this was a concerted effort to gain attention or some other unknown benefit. That generated a lot of heat and buzz in the media for sure around Puyallup in the Tacoma area. So, that spread to a random local man. His name was Corey Bober. He was following the case of Misty quite closely, and he formulated the thought that that Misty's untimely disappearance is connected to a case of other teenage girls going up missing in relation to a different case dealing with the serial killer known as the Green River Killer during the 90s. So, this working theory that Corey had was something that he broadcasted publicly and promoted to Diana and people, family, and friends of Misty, and it was quite a nuisance and disturbing to deal with that consistently for those 2 years. And so that endeavor then ended up with no supporting evidence of that being true. And Corey was um, a shady, seedy person in general. He was involved with consuming drugs and had not the best mental health. So he wasn't quite a credible figure for finding answers for the investigation. So with that, the closest clue to that's known to Diana and the community for Puyallup was that some of Misty's clothes was found, um, the same clothes that she was wearing the last time she was seen um, in person at the fair. It was found off Highway 410 in February 1993. The pieces of clothing that were um, discovered by a search party for Misty were her jeans, her underwear, and just a single sock. And those were laying in a ditch alongside the entrance ramp of the highway. And it was pretty clear that they've been there for quite some time. They were soaked in mud and the outside elements. So when those samples of clothing were taken to forensics, they could conclude that there were no um, there wasn't any trace of blood or semen or bodily fluids that indicated foul play, which could have led to a direction for the case in this early state. So with the preservation of those articles of clothing along that highway, um, they kept it and protected it until the advent of DNA technology advancement in the 2000s. And they ran a DNA test in 2009 to see if any DNA would turn up from that testing. But no, this was already a decade past the incident of Misty going missing. It was since 1993, and so that would be 13 years by now. And back to the DNA tests, they found just these really tiny flakes of paint on the jeans, and they matched DNA that wasn't in a database to any particular male that was in the system. So tragically, the case is now 34 years old. I completely forgot to show images of Misty. Give me just a second. So Misty, during her teenage years, she was described as a tall female, standing at 5'9" height. She has hazel eyes and blonde hair. Don't worry, the picture is coming up soon. Okay, there we go. So this is the image of her during the 90s, and this would have been what she looked like, throughout her traveling and wherever she may have gone during her disappearance. And then with the report being added to the National Database for Missing Children, they created a advanced age progression picture of what she would look like today in today's circumstance. She would be in her mid 40s, and so to be conscious of what she will most likely appear like. This is her as they predict she would look like nowadays. So, there's no confirmation if she's still here with us like that. Her mother is still suffering from the loss of a really stagnant case over um, 3 decades now. And, she would have so much closure, not only for Diana, but her Misty's loved ones and for her friends. So if you are aware of any informants and pieces of leads that can assist um, the Copesies to find a resolution to their case, please reach out to the Puyallup Police Department through their phone and email too. And so that would be all the cases I had today for these unsolved cases throughout the U.S. I know it was a really lengthy video just to get through all of the research and details for everyone that was involved in the cases. Um, let me know in your comments which case was most um, revealing to you about like community safety. Which one spoke the most to you about like um, unexpected tragedy of like people who seem similar, but people who seem normal, but have ulterior thoughts and actions. So um, thank you guys for being a trooper through the video. And let me know if there are more cases that have a lot of traction and need more advocacy to stay relevant in the mass stream of information uh, that we're sifting through in the internet. Um, Everybody take care, and we'll see y'all for a future video in the coming weeks. Bye bye.